So, hello, here we are back in Doves Bay. It is now 1800 hours. Well, actually, is it? No, it's 1900 hours, 7 p.m. We have finished our very, very nice dinner on the second day. Today we were in Grimrock Isle and we explored parts of Grim House. So now what we're going to do is we're going to spend the next 6 hours, because we don't need to sleep more than 6 hours. And since breakfast is at 8, it's early enough if we go to bed at 2 a.m., which means we have plenty of time to get something going around Doves Bay. So we're first going to go to Thompson's Bridge. We were already at Bleakmore Cemetery, which was kind of not so hot, so we're going to go there 15 minutes. It's now 7:15. And let's see. Thompson's Bridge is a weather-worn span of log and rough-hewn timber whose days of glory have long since passed. Folk rarely visit the spot now, for the road which approaches the covered bridge has fallen into disuse. It is a good place for a quiet stroll or a clandestine meeting. If you have come here during the day, you will find 56 while your arrival after sunset. Well, it's not sunset yet, is it? So 56, no, it's 7 o'clock. It is a quiet, balmy afternoon, most conducive to calm reflection. After an hour of contemplation, you may restore 1d6 of any sanity points you may have lost in Doves Bay. Note: if you have had a bad experience on or near the bridge, you will enjoy no such gain, as memory makes you restive. Down the road, on the other side of the bridge, you can just make out a rather large tract of swampland, closely guarded by stands of tall, undulating willows. Will you explore the swamp, or will you return to Doves Bay and the case at hand at 73M? So first of all, we're going to spend 60 minutes in quiet reflection for nothing, because we didn't lose any sanity. But it's good to know that if we come here during the day, we can do this. So it's now 8:15, and we are going to, of course, go to the Willows. 79. It is much slower going on this side of the bridge, for the road is rough and overgrown. After a considerable walk, you find yourself at last in the whispering shade of the willows at the very edge of the swamp. There is what seems to be a rough path winding off to your left, but you can see that by jumping from hummock to hummock, you could actually proceed directly into the swamp. Will you travel the path or attempt a little hummock jumping at 97? Our dexterity is 13. I think not. We will travel the path for 30 minutes. And this will mean we're going to go to 30. The path is little more than a game trail, but there are clear signs of human use. After about 15 minutes walk, this path opens up into a large clearing, at the center of which rises a rocky hill covered with blueberry bushes. You may pause to sample this bounty of nature at 52, or return. Yes, of course, we're going to eat some blueberries. 15 minutes of this feasting will fill you up. You may count this as a meal. Stuffed and full of well-being, you may retrace your steps back to town at 73, and we have to spend 60 minutes. Okay, I don't quite get this, but okay. So it's now 9:45. But that's brilliant, because we're going to go right back to the bridge, because now it's dark. Okay, I'm beginning to lose patience a little. 45, because it's dark. If you came here on a whim, you will find 67. If you came here to meet someone, you may wait at 11, 67. It's a quiet, moonless night. Listen. 73, we hear nothing. Goodly. So, we go back to 73. and then we're gonna go somewhere else. Let's go to Palmer's Orchard. And we have a lead there because apparently the gold is where the lightning struck. A 45-minute walk into the gently rolling hills to the north of town brings you to the unkempt, overgrown collection of gnarled and decrepit trees which once was Palmer's Orchard. The rutted dirt lane leading to this desolate place is considerably overgrown and gives out entirely as it reaches the orchard itself. The trees here are large and twisted, their uncontrolled growth bearing mute testimony to years of neglect. If you have come here for a specific purpose, yes we have, because what we would like to do is we would like to check for the lightning struck tree spot hidden. Yes, we pass. After half an hour's futile searching, your eyes settle on a particularly gnarled tree, warped and split by time and weathering, and one such split curiously resembles the jagged track of a lightning bolt. 30 minutes. And a half luck roll. And we pass because our luck is 75. So we roll 24, that's good. So we get a success, 26. After 2 hours, you are about to give up. When your shovel strikes something hard and metallic, working furiously, you excavate a large metal box, smashing open the lock to reveal 10,000 in gold coins. Flushed with success, you spend the next 4 hours transferring your newfound wealth to your car. Wow. We're rich. Only I was rich before this, but hey, that's my yearly income. Woohoo! So, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's now 5:30 a.m. We have eaten because we had the blueberries. So we're just gonna so it's now 5:30. We have 2.5 more hours before we need to have breakfast. We need to have breakfast. Okay. So we'll just skip forward. It's now the 3rd day. So we're going to eat until 9. And then it's it's Wednesday the 3rd. It's 9 o'clock, then we're going to sleep for 6 hours until 1500 hours. Blah, blah, blah. So we'll just skip this. How much do I lose if I sleep? Because I'm also running out of photocopied stuff. If I don't sleep, then I'll just take away 1 con. So we're just going to bring down our con by 11. Because we did sleep 2 hours, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, yeah, 2.5 hours. So it's 8 a.m. Let's have breakfast. It's now 9 a.m. We did have something to check in the library or was it the let's check if it was the library where we didn't find everything we wanted. Yeah, so we're going to go to the library, 15 minutes. So we're gonna 77, that's a pass. And that's the occult. Or did we actually get all of these? Let's see. GI 15. Yeah, indeed. Of all the witch cults existing, or rumoured to be existing in the New England area during the 1800s, the one which seems almost impossible to document is the one which reputedly operated in Doves Bay, Maine. Research into this coven is hampered by a marked scarcity of facts and the natural reluctance of the relatives of the suspected cultists to talk about their ill-starred ancestors. It was widely suspected, though never proven, that the leader of this cult was one of the wealthy elite whose posh estates dot the waters of Doves Bay, but again, there is no concrete evidence to support this theory. Okay, it's now 9:45. We could, in theory, do a library use roll, which we succeed in, and spend another 30 minutes, which we're going to do, and go to 401. You may read handout GI16. In the spring of 1843, the Boston police raided what was at first thought to be 10 research points. Did we get any earlier? Yeah, 5. Spring of 1843. Police raid a warehouse owned by Lazarus, and they think that there's a coven, but it's actually some sort of ceremony of people worshipping Dagon. The police quickly discovered that there was no coven, but an obscure cult worshipping an equally obscure god called Dagon, a name obviously Greek origins. No mention of this deity is to be found in any of the conventional terms of occult lore, so it can be assumed that this was a pseudo-religion created by some 19th century charlatan. Determining this to be the case, all participants were fined for trespassing and released. The names of the arrestees are as follows: Amos Johnson, Gilbert Martyr, Louis March, mind you, not Marsh, Festus Killane, Fred Cleats, Clyde Bloch, Jerome Wattles, Nathan Jeffers, and Zachariah Martins. The leader of this cult escaped capture during the raid, and since the cultist refused to divulge his name, he was never identified. Okay, so we're going to go back to 88 and we're going to do the last research. This took us 30 minutes, but that was well worth it. Ivy, was machst du da? Sorry, I just had to get this from my cat. She was nibbling my paintbrush. Let's do other. And we pass. 30 minutes have passed. And we go to 120. Oh, that was the other one. No, we don't have to do this. That was the one we'd already done. That was the Sleepy Hollow one. Okay. Good, good, good. So that was quite good. So, let's look at Dove's Bay again. We have come across the names Wattles and Bloch. And we can go to Wattles and Bloch because they both exist. Different people, Jebediah Wattles and Clovis Bloch. And we're going to do this. We're going to go to Clovis Bloch, number 2. Responding to your knock is a tall, gaunt man of sallow complexion and indeterminate years who admits to the name of Clovis Bloch. He is neither hostile nor hospitable and does not invite you in. Fast talk. $26. Fast talk is 0.5. That didn't work so well. Failure 55. I ain't got no time for such foolishness, the cadaverous Bloch snaps at you just before the door slams in your face. Will you sulk off to 73 or do a bit of prowling? Let's do some prowling at 26. Let's prowl. A 10-foot fence of rough planks encloses the backyard. Climb at +10. My climb is 40, so now we're at 50. And I passed 29. Success 93. The backyard is an overgrown, weed-infested plot sporting 2 gnarled and termite-ridden trees. Against the side of the house at 51 is a set of unpainted doors which obviously lead into the cellar, while against the back wall of the fence at 138 is a small coop. There is a back door to the house at 198. 5 minutes. Let's go to the coop, 138. There is no lock on the door of this coop, and you cautiously pull the warped and weathered portal open, and are suddenly enveloped in a feathery storm of cackling, frightened chickens that spews from the coop. Blasted fox, you hear Clovis Bloch yell from the house. I'm getting my gun and fixing it so you will never steal another one of my chickens again. With this new incentive to spur you on, you flee the yard for 73. Perhaps you can visit Clovis again another time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. That was fun. 73. All right. Let's maybe try the other bloke. Jebediah Wattles, 34. I hope that, you know, can we not use something different than fast talk? I mean, can I not just, I don't know, smile at them nicely? The door to this quaint little cottage opens at your knock, and Jebediah Wattles greets you with a warm smile. 1, 2, 3. He's pleasant. He's a pleasant sort who lets you get around to the reason for your visit in your own good time. Fast talk again. 67. I don't like people coming around here opening up old wounds, Wattles tells you sourly. I'd be obliged if you get off my property and don't come back. This lead is a dead end. You may sulk at 73. Let's get some sulking done. Let's go home to have some lunch. Nothing happens. We don't have any events. And I suggest what we do is we now go and visit the lighthouse. To the lighthouse. Like Kittens lighthouse. Oh look, this one's actually got a map. McKiernan's lighthouse was once a vitally important warning beacon for the wind-driven ships which once plied these waters. But now those ships are gone, and the lighthouse sits forgotten and forlorn atop the high cliffs overlooking the bay. At one time, all the windows of both the tower and the attached cottage were securely boarded over, but rot and vandalism have taken their toll, leaving gaping wounds of blackness framed by jagged edges of broken glass. A darkened time-worn silhouette greets you as you walk up the rutted, near non-existent old coast road towards the lighthouse. Not a very cheering view, to say the least. If you have come out here during the day, you may poke around at 38. Yes, indeed. It took us 45 minutes, so it's now 1:45 p.m. 38. The sound of the surf comes clearly to your ears, riding a breeze redolent with the salty tang of the sea. There are two means of entering the lighthouse. The first is the door leading into the tower itself at 61, and the other is the door of the attached cottage at 34. If neither of these appeals to you, you can always set off back to the town at 22. Well, let's go to the cottage at 34. Mechanical repair. 70, that's a failure. Okay, then we're going to try 61. Mechanical repair. 57, 75 again. That didn't work so well. So I'm going to give this another try. I'm just going to spend half an hour on this. Because I do think it's worth it. So 44, 62, 74. Okay, that's it. We're gonna go back. That didn't work. These two blokes are not gonna talk to us. We haven't been to the doctors. Let's check out Doc Bloomfield's 45. Doc Bloomfield's... Bloomfield? Okay, so he's Bloomfield here and Bloomfield there. Here you may receive medical attention. Okay. Okay, we don't care about this, so we're not going to do this, so we're just going to go straight to the sheriff's office at 121. Is the center of law and order in Doves Bay. A deputy seated behind the desk. Do a luck -10. We still pass at 13. 168. The deputy reluctantly allows you to examine some of the older reports. You will need a successful library use roll to find each one in the following order. Library use, yes. For the first one. For the second one, yes, just about. Yeah, no. That one is a miss, and the last one is a pass. So we get GI8 and GI10. But we also have to make a half luck. Yes, 0, 4, and 30. Good. So we get GI8 and 10. Sheriff's report. On the evening of November 3rd, November 3rd, 1846. The sheriff and 8 deputies rode out to Grimrock Isle to dissuade certain townsfolk from causing harm to befall Mr. Lazarus Grimm. He certainly was popular with the locals, whom they held responsible for certain disappearances in Doves Bay area, and did accuse him of the practicing of witchcraft. Tardily alerted to this mob action, we were unable to prevent the tragedy. The lower floor of Grimm House was in flames, and by the time the blaze was extinguished, the malefactors had fled the scene in various boats, which were later reported by their owners to be stolen. The identities of these individuals are known, but there is no proof that can be brought against them. I strongly suspect Willard Loomis, that's the guy who had attacked him outside the general store, was the instigator of these terrible events, but again, there is no proof that I can bring against him. Of Mr. Grimm and 3 of his servants, there was no trace to be found. Oh! They never found the bodies. They just assume they are dead. And though the search continues, we can only... After fire, no bodies were found. We can only presume them to have all been slain in the fire. The servants were no local to Doves Bay, and there is no clue as to their identities or place of origin. We saw somewhere else they're from the South Sea Islands. And GI10. Oh, Sheriff's Report, October 13th, 1900. Reported to be missing on this date, Mr. and Mrs. Richard Tolleyford. And 4 household servants, all recently occupying the property commonly referred to as Grimrock Isle. The report was made by Mr. Joseph Waxted, a friend of the family who owns property here on the mainland. Having had no word from the Tolleyfords in over a week, Mr. Waxted took alarm and came to inform me of his fears. I instructed deputies Clemmer and Johansson to investigate the matter, and they promptly rode out to Grimrock Isle to pay a call to the Tolleyfords. They returned to report back that the Tolleyfords and their servants were nowhere to be found, and there were no signs that they had packed up to leave the property for an extended period. All furnishings were found intact and undisturbed, and all 3 of the estate boats were found still tied to the docks or in the boathouse. Yet, despite the thorough search of the property, no trace of the Tolleyfords could be found. Alarmed by this turn of events, I returned to the island with Deputy Clemmer to conduct a closer inspection of the property. We found nothing at all that would help explain this disturbing mystery, but in the master bedroom I did find a half-completed letter apparently written by Mrs. Tollyford, which contains the following passage. I feel so listless and worn of late, as if the strength were being drained from my body. I know Richard feels the same, though he will not admit to it. I do not like this house. I feel that if we remain here longer, it'll consume us. I do not present this as evidence of any kind. It is, however, the last known communication by any of the Tollyfords or their servants, and as such deserves inclusion in this report. It is my suspicion that Mrs. Tollyford could not tolerate the isolation imposed on one who must live in the island cut off from the mainstream of society, and I fear that the strain of it proved too much for her, forcing her into some terrible and tragic action. I doubt that I shall ever be able to prove any of this, but I will continue the investigation. Okay, now this is interesting. Interestingly enough, we also got 0 research points for this, which I find a bit odd because we found out a lot through this. It did take us an hour. So it's now $3:45, and we're now going to go to the bar, which opens at 4, and we are going to hang out with the ruffians. Maybe we'll learn something. We don't have the apple pie because that's dangerous. What's your pleasure? Will you join the 4 ruffians playing cards? Go to the bar and try to strike up a conversation? Yes, this is what we're going to do. Let's do the bar thing. 49. Fast talk. Yeah, that didn't work. 15 minutes wasted. Let's join the ruffians playing cards. As long as you can afford it, you can play. Well, we're rich now. Each hand will take 15 minutes and you will require a luck roll from each player. The player with the lowest roll wins the hand and a pot of 1d10 quarters, I smile. No talking is allowed at the table save for bidding. Your opponent's lucks are... well... 92, I lose. That's great. We leave the tavern because we've done everything we can. Yeah, without... I mean, I don't really see what we can achieve because we've been everywhere. Oh, for each 24-hour period that you go without sleep. Okay, then we don't lose any. Okay. Well, I mean... what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the... We're going to go back. Nothing happens. We have our dinner until 7. We sleep for 6 hours until 1 a.m. in the morning. And then we're going to take a boat to the island. And then we're going to go straight to 229. So I'm just going to cut out this because that's just going to be too tedious. 229. The stairway ascends to a square platform from which it branches to the east and west. Both branchings terminate on the second floor at 250. The second floor landing offers you access to the door in the north wall, the double doors in the west wall, and the 2 doors in the east wall. So we can either go to 271, which is in the north wall, or we can go through here in the west wall. There is one in the east wall to the north and one in the east wall to the south. So this one leads to 225, this one leads to 271, north 298, this is 246. We could descend. Or we could ascend. 221. Let's go north to 271. You have found the master guest bedroom. All the furnishings remain intact and in surprisingly good condition. A large fireplace occupies the center of the north wall, while the door in the center of the south wall leads out to 250. Yeah, this is where we came from. So, master bedroom. There's also a small door in the western portion of this wall that opens onto 321. Okay, here's a door to 317, and here's a door to 250. No, to 321. Let's go left, 321. You have entered a large walk-in closet filled with only darkness and cobwebs. Closet. Power roll. Oh, 01. Yeah, we totally nailed this one. 372. No, sorry. 355. Something you cannot understand warns you that there is something in here with you, something hidden and hostile. Will you seek it out, or will you leave it be? No, we will seek it out, 336. Seriously, we didn't come here for nothing. Make a con save. Okay. 94, we fail. Whoops. You cannot breathe. It is as if the very darkness within the closet has become thick and substantial, and it is smothering the life out of you. Con times 3. What's my con? Haha. Failure, 1 hit point. Roll again. 2 hit points. 3 hit points. 4 hit points. 5 hit points finally. We get 3 research points. We go to 336. We just succeeded at that. Oh, sorry, success 316. You emerge from the closet and are able to breathe once more. We're now down to 6 hit points. We have to do a luck roll, which we fail. 389, but we get 3 research points. Something grabs you from behind, pulling you back into the closet, twisting about you. Your eyes widen in horror as you see sanity roll. 89. No. Failure 3 san. Okay. The darkness within the closet has bulged outward, forming 2 grasping talons which are now wrapped around you in a death grip. Match your power against the talons' power 15 on the resistance table. A win here will see you to 379. 3 research points. This is probably 10, 15, 1, 2. Okay. Resistance table. Its power is 15. And our POW is 14. We lose 330. You are dragged back into the closet. Oh my god. Con times 3. We fail. We fail. We fail. 3. We pass. Take 3 2 research points. 15 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And down by 3. Okay. $316. Luck. We pass. 271. You have found the master. Great. We're going to go home. Okay, so we take a boat. We are back in. So it takes him an hour to get us. So that's 3 o'clock to 4:30. We're gonna go to bed. Does anything happen? No. 6 hours is 10:30. No, we're gonna get up at 8 the next day because we need to get breakfast. So Thursday, 4th August, 8 a.m., 1 hour breakfast. So, we're going to go to Dr. Bloomfield. Oh, I can actually also do first aid on myself. 59, that didn't work, but he gives me back 1 anyway, 30 minutes, so we're now back at 4 hit points. Okay, and I think we will visit Mr. Armbruster again, and this time I will actually talk to him because, you know, it is 10. If you cleansed Grimhouse, no. If you successfully exorcised, no. If you destroyed the evil at Grimhouse, no. Okay, we didn't do anything. Okay, we really can't do anything, can we? Well, I suggest we go to Hutchins Cave. At the moment, I really have to say that this is kind of turning into one of those really boring, I don't know what I'm doing. A 45-minute walk along the beach brings you to a point where a finger of the sea has extended right to the wall of a tall cliff on your right, effectively blocking your progress. If you are here in the daylight, feel free to poke around at 75. Okay, let's poke around. $45. Spot hidden. Yes. 91. After a moment's study of the cliff face, you realize that the channel not only extends to the base of the cliff, but continues on into it through what can only be the mouth of a cave. You may examine the opening at 16. Yes, indeed. A narrow strip of sand parallels the channel as it enters the cliff face, making it an easy matter to walk into the gaping mouth of the cave. Deeper in, the slope increases until at last the entire tunnel is dry and sandy, forming a roughly circular chamber of water-weathered rock. Well, I mean, they did worship Dagon. From here you can see 2 tunnels snaking off into the darkness of the earth. Left or right? Of course we will go left. Always left. We're not ambiturners. 63. You are in a tunnel that is quite short and you can see another opening just ahead. Spot hidden. No. Failure 83. This is a smaller chamber than the first. Spot hidden. 25 we pass. 5 minutes. There is something strange about the rock formations on the right-hand side of this chamber. Will you look into it? Yes. 28. You discover that this rock wall is not a rock at all, but a sheet of canvas painted to blend with the surrounding strata. Okay, now that's interesting. Pushing the canvas aside, you find yourself faced with 51. A 10-foot, roughly circular alcove is revealed, though much of this space is now occupied by stacks and stacks of small balsa wood crates. Oh, one such crate lies open before you, revealing 1 empty square slot and 5 slots occupied by quart bottles of Canadian whiskey. I don't believe it. They're smuggling alcohol. The realization of what you found strikes you at 1:02, and you get drunk. Aha. You have stumbled upon a smuggler's cache of illegal alcohol. Will you report this to the sheriff or say nothing and do something else at 47? Well, I actually don't care. This is not part of my... I can always do this, but at the moment we're just going to go back to 47. You could destroy the hooch at 74, or you could forget about it and explore the other tunnel. We're not gonna, you know, I don't care. I don't want to, you know, fall foul of these guys. 98. To explore this tunnel system, roll 1d10 and consult the chart below. Assume... Oh, okay. We go to 62. The tunnel wends its way through tortuous twistings, never deviating from its downward course. The journey is a long one, unbroken by any side passage, branching tunnel or vertical shaft. But at long last, the air becomes suffused with a pale green glow. This light illuminates a ragged opening before you, a flickering auroral glow that is unlike anything you've ever seen. And as you approach the opening, a strange sound comes to your ears, the sluggish lapping of some thick fluid upon a forlorn shore. 30 minutes, it's now 12 o'clock. With trepidation, you press on to 86. A vast grotto smelling of the depths of the sea opens up before you as you step from the tunnel onto a narrow beach of black sand. This cavern and the body of torpid water it contains stretches beyond the limits of your eyesight. Their farthest reaches enshrouded in an eerie, self-luminous mist which almost obscures a small islet of slick black rock, upon which crouches a curious object you cannot quite make out. Will you approach for a closer look at 58, or continue on through the tunnel you have spotted? We're going to go and take a closer look. What could possibly go wrong? 58. If you entered these tunnels during the day, yes we did, move on to 31. As you draw near the shore, you see that the object is an idol of some sort, which is surrounded by mounds of glittering objects, the precise nature of which you cannot determine. Will you investigate the islet? Of course, 82. Swim. 17. I passed because it's a base. 54. As you pull yourself onto the low rocky islet, you see that the idol is a representation of some sort of sea deity, a winged hulk with an octopoidal head. Your attention, however, is drawn to the glittering humps, which now reveal themselves to be piles of gold coins, gems, and assorted pieces of jewellery. Luck roll. We pass. 10 minutes. 78. You may fill your pockets with these precious items to the tune of no. We pass. We failed the luck roll. 73. We're not going to take money. We don't care. Your examination of the idol is interrupted by a shadow which falls over you from behind. Whirling about, you find yourself confronting sanity roll. 52, we pass. 97. A slimy, grey-green creature with bulging eyes. Aha! Finally, we see something. Wide mouth lined with razored fangs which lumbers towards you, croaking in what can only be inhuman rage. Make a desperate rush to 22. We get 2 research points. The blasphemous fish frog thing has a dex of 13. Determine which of you moves first, then fight for your life. Well, my dex is 13 as well, so okay, so now we're going to roll. Even I go first, odd it goes first. Odd it goes first. The thing has a 25% chance of hitting you. 13 it does, causing 1d6 and 1d4. Oh my god. I'm down hit points. I think I'm dead. 1d6 and 1d4. Let's just roll the d6 first. 1. And let's roll a d4, if I can find a d4. Five, I'm dead. Yes, because, yeah. Oh, I'm at -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm at -2. I'm unsure what this actually means. If you survive this encounter, catch your breath. I get 10 research points. I'm gonna have to do a medic first aid roll, which I pass, so I restore 1 hit point. I'm at -1. I don't know if this means that I'm unconscious. We'll just say that I somehow managed to... I get washed ashore. 42. Mortally wounded, the creature staggers back, topples into the water and vanishes beneath the surface. You gain... Oh! Oh, I get to hit it too, don't I? Okay, so that makes sense. I'm just gonna... Yeah, 08. I actually hit it with my 45, which does 1d10 plus 2 damage. Okay, so this is not playing by the rules, but I'm getting tired of this. 5, 7. Yeah. We get sanity back, but we don't do this. We're just, you know... You enter the water at 50 and swim for the mainland. Yeah, we fail. 101. You sustain 1 point of damage. Okay, let's face it. My investigator is dead. Okay, so I will not create another investigator. I will leave this here, just like the other ones that I've played, which is Alone Against the Darkness, Alone on Halloween, Alone Against the Wendigo. I guess they are... I think the idea is not too bad, but I believe it's just something that doesn't lend itself to be implemented in an interesting way, because, you know, you walk around, you have no leads. I don't know if the fast talk rolls would have made any difference. Yeah, we could still explore the house. Maybe I will do this. Maybe I will create another investigator and just go to the house and go to the top level and see what happens there. Yeah, but I just think that these choose your own adventure, and I don't really understand where the resurgence is coming from, because apparently they're gaining popularity again. I think the issue is that they are too, due to their very nature, they cannot be very intricate. You know, it's a lot of hit and miss, unless you do it really well. And if you were to do it really well, I would prefer to have real puzzles where I have to use my brain to figure them out rather than just roll. And then not just poke around and, oh yeah, we haven't been here, we have no clues, let's just go here. So I will probably create another investigator, but, and this is not Cthulhu either, this is Ivy. Na, Mäusekind. Yeah. I guess it's nice, and I think I've now spent about 3 hours to engage with this. It wasn't exactly boring. I mean, it just tends to lose tension because you're just basically running around. We could answer the following question, which is, which deity did they worship? And that was Dagon. So that's one of the questions. We'll see. Maybe we will go back to this next weekend. But yeah, maybe I might create a different investigator with the same stats. Yeah. because yeah, I don't know. I mean, the sub solos I find a bit lackluster. I mean, I will create a new investigator with a lot of fast talk, because fast talk, spot hidden, library use, and mechanical repair are really the only ones that are required. The rest is just basically incidental. Okay, then I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.